a dark suspense story set in rural America, laced with grief, mystery, and something deeply unearthly. It began with a storm, not a thunderstorm, a storm inside Elliot Ward's soul. After losing his wife to a brutal car accident, Elliot fled the noise of Boston with his 9-year-old daughter, Maisie, and settled into a weather-beaten farmhouse in the outskirts of Ashford Hollow, a forgotten American town wrapped in trees and secrets. The house was old. It had no name, just an address etched on a rusting mailbox, 1311 Hollow Creek Road. Nobody had lived there in nearly 4 decades. Elliot was told it had good bones. What it had were creaky stairs, walls that whispered in the dark, and windows that refused to open, even when you begged them to. On the second night, Elliot heard it. A voice, no, not a voice, a murmur, thin and dry like leaves brushing against glass. It came from the corner of his bedroom, then the hallway, then silence. He told himself it was the wind or the pipes. Old houses had personality, he reasoned. Maisie was less forgiving. "There's a lady in my ceiling," she told him at breakfast, crunching cereal with disturbing calm. "What lady?" "She watches me when I sleep. She cries when I cry." Elliot's stomach twisted. He told her it was just a dream, the product of a strange new place and a tired little brain. But that night he found wet footprints, tiny, barefoot, leading from Maisie's bed to the attic door. Maisie began drawing, not stick figures or cats. She drew her, the woman in the ceiling. The same face over and over, long black hair, hollow eyes, blood dripping from her dress. Sometimes the woman was crying. Sometimes she was smiling, too wide. Elliot hid the drawings. He didn't want to believe. Until he found scratches behind the mirror in the hallway, deep gouges that spelled out names. A child's names, in dozens. Elliot visited the Ashford County Records Office. He told the clerk he was researching property deeds. In truth, he was desperate. After hours digging through yellowing newspapers and microfilm, he found it. A story dated 1983. Mother and daughter vanish from Hollow Creek Road home. Husband found dead in barn. Names Clara Hensley, 32, daughter Violet Hensley, age 9. There were no arrests, no leads, just rumors. Whispers of grief too loud to ignore. The photo chilled Elliot to his core. Clara Hensley looked exactly like the woman in Maisie's drawings. That night it rained. Not a soft drizzle. A downpour that drowned the world in gray. Maisie didn't come down for dinner. Elliot rushed upstairs. Her room was empty. But the attic door, usually shut tight with a lock he'd never opened, now stood ajar. A slow creak, shadows shifting. He climbed the steps. Each footfall an echo, each breath borrowed. Maisie sat in the corner, cross-legged, smiling. "I'm okay, Daddy," she said. "She was just telling me about her little girl, Violet. She's lonely." Behind her, scrawled across the wooden walls, were hundreds of names, each scratched deeply into the timber. The final name read Maisie Ward. The air grew cold. Ice clung to Elliot's skin. The light bulb flickered. From the far corner of the attic, a figure emerged. Clara. Her body was transparent, but solid enough to cast a shadow. She wore a white dress soaked in black stains. Her eyes, wide and bottomless, looked past Elliot, as though seeing something far beyond him. "She called me," Clara said softly. "Just like my Violet did. I only wanted to protect them. The world is so cruel." "Give me back my daughter," Elliot whispered, voice breaking. Clara stepped aside. She chose to listen. That's how it begins. The house. It chooses those who ache. It feeds on love that's lost. It wasn't Clara. Elliot understood now. The house itself was the predator. Not haunted, hungry. It sought grief like a shark seeks blood. It whispered promises to the broken, made them see what they missed, made them believe. Then it took them. Clara had been its first. Now she was its keeper. Or perhaps, its prisoner. "I tried to fight it," Clara said, her form flickering. "But it feeds on sadness, and it's always hungry." Elliot grabbed Maisie. He ran, down the stairs, through the kitchen, but every door led back to the same hallway, the same stairs, the same attic door. Maisie whispered, "Now we live here too." He screamed, cried, begged, but the walls only listened. Later, a letter was found nailed to the mailbox. "If you find this, don't come inside, don't listen to the whispers. Don't bring your grief here, it will eat you whole. No one ever saw Elliot or Maisie again. But some nights, if the wind is right and the fog is thick, locals swear they hear a child's laughter drifting through Hollow Creek Road. And at 1311, the porch light flickers on. Even though the power was cut years ago, grief is a door, and some doors were never meant to be opened.